my gosh, it's Tuesday morning. Welcome to the Wealth Rules podcast. I am Vickie Helm and I have my fabulous partner with me. This is Monique Wright. And today we are going to be talking about something that everyone has been, thinking about or talking about, but it's the end of cheap energy. And it's the end that cheap energy that we have has been it's been biting us in the butt for a while because they talked about peak oil back in the 2000s. It's just happening right now in the from the early 2000s to right now. This is our Tuesday podcast. It's our first Tuesday podcast that we're doing, and I'm just wondering, how are you doing? How are you feeling today?
I'm wonderful. Excited about this episode. I know there's so much going on in the world right now with the war. People are trying to find out what to do. And there's a sense of urgency right now. So I'm glad that
There
we're doing this
is.
podcast and excited about today.
Yeah, it's like there is this thing about the podcast. We have several ways we want to go through this, but I just kind of want to get to the issue, the actual, and I want to let like any podcaster, I made my notes here. But people are acting in different ways right now. And the first thing I want to notice is some people are ignoring it. They don't have time to even think about it. They're going to work, dealing with their family, going and they notice the price is rising, and they know that there's a war going on,
Yes.
and they know that that they have to make their dollar stretch, but they don't actually know right now how to solve the problem. But neither does the rest of the world. Energy runs everything. Energy is everything. Without energy, we fall back to like the 1930s when
hmm
we didn't have energy at every house. So one of the things that is the war thing, I think some of this is being done on purpose. This is just my theory. And I want to talk about that too. But what I want to talk about today also is what people can do in order to move through this energy. And the first thing that anyone can do is understand the problem, understand what is happening. And what I want to share with you is that the energy that we have in the Strait of Hormuz, it's not just the energy, it's the lack of flow through the system where
Yes.
oil is. And what it does is shut down the system. It clogs the system up. In fact, the fact that there's no oil going can actually stop and gook up some of the motors or the generators that actually push oil through. And they're worried about that happening because it's happened now. And what they know is if the war ends, but the pipelines and systems there break, or they're clogged up,
hmm
or they have to kind of get them started again so that there's oil production, that is going to slow oil as well. And so this already is an energy crisis. It's already
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So when we look at the energy crisis, a lot of us think, well, how long will it last? And right now, it doesn't have an end. Like, how long
Mhm.
will it last means that um, it's happening right now. And what has happened is, again, we always talk about white privilege, but I want to talk about American privilege. American privilege is that we're going to be the last country that feels the effect of this energy slump that's happening. And so what's happening right now is that there's a lot of chaos in
Yeah.
other countries. They're already experiencing energy shortages, food shortages, and like famine like conditions because of this war. Do you know what I mean?
100%. Not only that, but I don't think that people really realize that. I mean, we've said it on other podcasts before, but You can't remanufacture more oil.
Yeah.
It's not like a fruit tree. You grab an apple and then another one pops up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And because
That's
of
the
that,
important thing.
yes,
That's the
there's a
important
delay
thing.
there. The shipping, once if the strait opens today, the shipping is going to be fine. We're going to be able to get it through, but then it goes to manufacturing and then it goes to everything else. Sorry about that.
No worries.
But the thing is that I think a lot of Americans think that we're one of the richest countries in the world. We'll be okay. We won't have any problems. We won't have the problems that everybody else has. And because of that, that's that privilege part. But it's false because it affects us globally.
Yeah.
And there's more than one piece to it. Like you said, the machinery, just on that aspect alone, if they're sitting there not being used, by the time they are cranked up and ready to go, and they got a lot of repairs, that sets the time clock back. So we're looking at months, the shipping of the oil and getting here, refining the process, getting the machines back up and going.
Yeah.
All that comes into play.
Yes. And I feel like somehow our leaders don't actually have the people's interest at heart while they're
Mm-hmm.
going through this. I believe a lot of this is by design. And I believe a lot of it is something that we have to think about. And by design, I mean by corporations, lobbyists, and politicians.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have the average person's best interest at heart. They didn't, everybody's trying to make profits and grow this. It's very much about, I think, vacuuming the wealth
Yes.
out of America
Mm-hmm.
before we de dollarize or lose the reserve currency status.
Mm-hmm.
And, when that happens, after that happens, the next morning, everybody's going to be feeling the pain in the way they never thought ever before. And if you want to see what could happen, just go on YouTube and look at, the fall of Argentina or Zimbabwe or Venezuela. I
Venezuela.
mean, there's tons of examples of what it's like for people who have way less debt than we do, how they
Right.
suffer. And so, Greece went through that austerity thing. And somehow Americans think, well, we're America, there's no austerity coming. And they're going to fix it for us. Or maybe they introduce universal basic income, but there's still austerity. There's still
Mm-hmm.
austerity in the way of, even if you get a lot of universal basic income, you
Yeah.
lose a lot of rights and you become permission based. It's
Yeah.
permission based spending. May I get a pair of shoes? Can I pick up my prescription? I mean, these are all things that are there. And so what
For your artwork.
we're looking at how people are acting right now. We're acting like nothing can happen to us. And that is American privilege. Hi, Felicia. Nice to see you on. Thanks for being here.
I think
And
that we're already operating in the permission base. I mean, look at the middle class right now.
mhm, mhm,
The people who are getting their money vacuumed aren't the ones who are billionaires, and they're not the poor class. They don't even have the money. It's the middle class that is the one that spends, the one with the 401k, the one that wants to be able to do more,
mhm.
but that inflation margin is cutting into the profit.
Yep.
So the privilege, I think, isn't as prevalent as it was before. I think a lot of people are starting to wake up and saying, "Hey, what's going on? I thought I had the opportunity. I thought I was here above the rest of the world, but now, as I'm looking around, as I'm looking at the news, it's affecting everybody." By
Yes.
design.
Yes. And I feel like I'm okay with being called a conspiracy theorist or whatever you want to call it. But I think you're absolutely on point when we're talking about people waking up right now. One, they don't know what to do next.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing is the promise of what they've had means that they feel stuck. Like,
Yes.
okay, I've been told I was going to get help here. I voted the person I voted in because they said they were going to help us here. and they haven't helped us here. And I see inflation going up,
Mm-hmm.
and I see my money becoming weaker. As inflation goes up, my money becomes so weak that what I've been saving, now I have to go save more. I have to do more, be more, get more. And I think what you actually have to do is leave this system. But
Mm-hmm.
most people don't know how to leave this system. And I want to say there's a pain that you feel when you realize, dude, this isn't working. This
Right.
is not working.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to get to where you need to be, you need to do this, man, this at the same time, so that you build a bridge that goes from here to here. And most people feel so stuck and
Mm-hmm.
so frustrated and so angry and so exhausted of trying to work this system, because they get you hustle, 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 hustle. And then by the time you stop hustling, so, like you're running at full sprint, and then suddenly you stop and you're like, breathing, trying to just catch up. You're like, this isn't working for me. I've run and run and run at full speed for decades now, and I'm not
And
where I need to be.
I know that for certain. And I'm not even sure if it's a pain point as much as it is now a panic point.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
felt as I felt so overwhelmed, I started panicking. Not
Yeah.
because, and I'm not saying don't have a financial advisor. I'm not saying that at all. But at a point, I felt like I didn't know who to go to. I was asking my financial advisor, my wealth manager, hey, what about this? They didn't give me the answers because they're not there
Yeah.
to give me any direction on what I should be investing in. Like, let's say digital assets. They're here to preserve my 401k and not take risk with it. So they kept saying, no, it's too risky. It's too risky. And I say, what about, I've been doing Bitcoin for a while now. It's growing. No, too risky. What about this? Too risky. Really? So now I'm in a panic. Like, my financial advisor doesn't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. I'm not financially illiterate. What is happening to get me to the panic point? And I don't want to go out and get another job. I'm too old for that. Right? Like, we're hustling, hustling, we're hustling. You got here's inflation, here's your income, and it's meeting and it's gonna be here. So you saying I gotta make more money, I gotta do more money, or I gotta start selling off assets. But at the same time, I don't want to sell anything and I don't want to go make more money. That's not a
I know.
lifeboat. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? I don't want to go back into the workforce
Yeah. Why?
where, yeah.
In a little bit, it's going to be over there. I want to go back to a point you just made because it's super important. One of the most important things you just said was my advisor said it was too risky, too risky, too risky. And now it's legal. It's legal to have it in there. So, what was too risky? I'll tell you what was too risky. The company that you worked for didn't sell that product. So, instead of saying, we don't sell that product,
Mm-hmm.
and saying, yes, I think it's a good investment, you said it's too risky, until the company said, oh, okay, now it's being infused into society. We got to jump in and jump on. So then suddenly you can sell it. You can open it up to people. You can create
Yeah.
ETFs. You aren't lying to us. You have no interest in whether we get wealthy. You have interest in whether you get wealthy, and you're doing the thing that your company wants to do so you can go on that next vacation, or you can get that next thing upward. We
Mm-hmm.
know what's happening. Felicia says, I'm scared to leave the workforce because uncertainty. Absolutely. It
Mm-hmm.
is getting harder and harder, and they're doing this. They're making you dependent and stuck, and or you have to work to get yourself free. And this is the thing about building that bridge. So many people are going, okay, you're in the middle class, and the
Mm-hmm.
middle class is shrinking, and there's only two ways the middle class can go. You're either going to be in poverty, or you're going to level up and become richer. That's it. That's the only two
You
ways you
broke that
can
word.
go. And our entire society right now is not just cheap income, it's cheap labor. Labor is becoming inexpensive. When you have AI agents that could do what you did for $80,000 a year, and it can do it for free, do you see how your labor gets really cheap?
I,
And so,
I
go ahead.
I have a question for you, Vic. I mean, definitely AI is taking away your leverage where you are able to say, hey, I can do X, Y, and Z. I have the skill set, especially math, science, those things that AI can do
Mhm. Yeah.
in minutes.
Mhm.
Coding,
Mhm.
full stack developers, boom. But I want to get your take on this. So, as Felicia was saying, she was scared to leave the workforce. A lot of times, well, for the last, 15 years, they were saying front end your 401k, right?
That's
They
right.
were telling you, you retire early, the fire, right? Financial independence, retire early. So everybody's doing it. It's like a whole movement.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying to retire early. It just made sense if you're middle class not to work till you're 65.
To me, this is the thing. This is the real truth. If it gets to the point where you do nothing but, front end your 401k, you're going to be retired very early. Not comfortably, but you'll be
Mm-hmm.
retired early because this shift is coming. No matter what, you have to build the bridge from being dependent in systems that they tell you are profitable and doing what companies do and corporations do. They're buying up all the primary assets and they're telling you to invest in tertiary assets. And the thing that most people don't understand is what an asset is. Because if you understood what an asset is, then you would not be investing in tertiary assets. You'd be
Right.
making a very different form of thoughts and actions and decisions based on understanding what an asset is. So, we say this all the time, but I'm going to say it again because it's important for you to invest this in your life. There are only two ways. That's it. Only two ways to get assets. You either build them or you buy them. That's it. So
That's
you
it.
can build a house or you can buy a house. Either way, if you build it or you buy it, then you have an asset and it'll grow over time in
Mm-hmm.
value. And
Right.
the thing about it is, it's either you buy a book or you write a book. You either buy a business with that already
Mm-hmm.
is making cash or you build a business that's already there. And what happens is people are not actually building businesses. They're listening to webinars and then the pitch at the end of the webinar. And they get so excited by the pitch. They get so excited, they buy the investment. It's the same with private equity. When you go to these, secluded deal things where you feel special and important,
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, here, invest, invest, invest. That is a tertiary investment. And so
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
happens is, what's a tertiary investment? It's when you no longer have control of
Mm-hmm.
your money that you invested. If it goes one way and you have to ask permission or hope and wait or look at it go up or down, up or down, up or down, then you're not in control of the asset.
Not at all.
So when you build a house or you buy a house or you build a company or you buy a company, what happens in that company gets to be part of your daily activity. And I mean, buy a company like, hi, I own the laundromat. So
Mm-hmm.
I go in and I clean the floors up. I fix and repair the machines or I do, whatever. So if we own, like, we have a media company. So all the media that gets to be live or put here, that's
Mm-hmm.
our decision. We have control of the media company. We have control of our message. We
Right.
have control of the money
Mm-hmm.
coming in. We have control of what we do with that money and it's protected. It's like there is a point where they taught you how to let go of control and be dependent and or look at these companies stewarding all their wealth and money.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference. You have to learn how to steward wealth and
Yes.
create cash flow veins. Now, I want to tell you the difference between cash flow and a cash flow vein. So cash flow, they pitch you a lot. Cash flow can be dividends. And cash flow can be some sort of passive income machine, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I have renters in my units right now, not Airbnbs, renters in my units, people who are wealthy and have, renters that are in Florida looking at the ocean, but pay you a rent every single month. That's passive income.
Mhm.
And a cash flow vein, that's passive income or cash flow. A cash flow vein is something that that doesn't run out. Like, people always are going to need housing. Really? We look at van life and all the people in tents right now. They
Mhm.
can't afford housing. And when they can't afford your housing or your rent, you may suddenly have people leaving your apartment building, and you may think there are wealthier people who are going to come and pay your rents at the price you're paying them. But right now, that seems to be falling. Real estate is falling.
Yes, yes.
A cash flow vein doesn't fall. A cash flow vein is something that runs with or without you.
Mhm.
So, for instance, I always use electricity. There's never a part in your month where you're going to be like, honey, I'm really tired of having air conditioning and refrigerators. We are shutting off our electricity. It'll never happen.
Right.
So if you own the structure of that um, electric delivery system, then you are not really advertising. You don't need to. You're not trying to market yourself or build your business or it's just going. It's just going because people aren't going to let go of that electricity. A grocery store, your local
Mhm.
grocery store, your local farmer, your local, any business, baby toys, baby clothing, baby anything,
Right.
anything that is there that is a need for your family that is so strong. Those are cash flow veins, and they make your business easier to start up because people always need them. What we're sold, what the masses are sold,
Mhm.
are all kinds of when you get a business, you get a franchise. And I think the most or the least expensive franchise is a carpet cleaner, like a
J&King.
CertaPro. So,
Mhm.
yeah, something like that, or a landscaping business that is there. And the reason we buy them is because they're inexpensive businesses. But
Mhm.
then when we're looking at these expensive businesses, they're very energy driven. And so I want to say that people are acting and behaving right now like nothing is going to happen to the United States, that we're not going to experience this, that we're not going to
Mhm.
have, we're not going to lose more jobs. And Felicia just said it's best. She said, I'm scared to leave the workforce because of uncertainty.
Right.
And that means you need to build the thing now, which is what we're
Mhm.
talking about, because we're talking about cheap energy. The cheap energy is gone.
It is
So,
gone.
yeah, and we need to consider cheap energy and building a business right now.
And what I would like to share is that even if you don't want to believe what's happening, even if you think America's going to be just fine, even if you think the world's going to be just fine, that's great, but it's not going to stop it from happening. And when we say people have their heads in the sand, it's basically denial. There's so many things going on right now in different directions that a lot of people are just shutting things off just because of mental health. Like, I'm watching the news and there's the oil and the prices are going up. I don't know if I'm gonna have a job tomorrow because of AI. I go to the grocery store and I'm seeing that the food prices are high. I'm looking at my children. I'm trying to explain to them exactly what's happening. But you can't be in denial for so long. So that's why I'm glad that we're having this conversation today. For the ones who are in denial, the ones who are saying, you know what, America is America. I know what you're talking about. You're fear mongering. You're an alarmist. It's not going to happen. The street has been closed how many days now? We already know that there's going to be a significant effect on our day to day lives. It's going to be those who are prepared. We're not saying panic, we're just saying to be prepared. And if you're not prepared and you have your head in the sand, regardless, it's still coming. It's still coming.
Yeah. Yeah, we have the perfect storm right now. We have the perfect storm. So, the second thing I want to talk about is paying attention, because
Mhm.
some of the people are so scared, they're avoiding the conversation. And if you avoid this conversation, it's going to bite you in the butt. And I
Yes.
mean the conversation more than once. You want to educate yourself. Like, did you know in South Carolina that 3,500 farms have gone bankrupt? And how does that affect the food system?
Right.
And so, also, there are uh, all of the CSAs, which is the community supported agriculture, is already filled up. They're not taking any people there. That's how it's gotten in Pennsylvania. The weather came in and froze all the apples. There is no fruit coming in. No, peaches are going to be down, apples are going to be down. Even Washington is experiencing farmers going bankrupt because
Hmm.
they're not able to afford to create food. They don't have the fertilizer, that it's already here.
Yes.
And the fact that we're not paying attention to it, and I'm telling you, it's being reported on Forbes and CNN and ABC. All the
Hmm.
news outlets are trying to tell the people that there isn't, it's not that there's just a break in the system and the system is broken. There are other hurdles like weather that has come
Yes.
by and
Yes.
fried things or moved things, and farmers are going bankrupt. The reason you want to pay attention is because you have to form your own opinion. And right
Yes.
now, you're listening to our opinion and we're sharing what we know.
Hmm.
But you are more empowered when you are looking for yourself and deciding for yourself and saying, oh, if all of these apples are gone in Pennsylvania, and I say Pennsylvania because that state produces apples and so does
Yes.
Massachusetts. But once they're frozen out, you already know that the apples are going to be very expensive this year. And I can't remember who I talked to, but somebody said they couldn't find strawberries this year.
Yes. Yes. Hmm.
And I
I know
was
who you're
like,
talking about, Lisa.
yeah, thank you. They were
Hmm.
like, there were no strawberries, and people are looking around at what's not there. So if you're looking around at what's not there, you probably have from now till, I don't know. I don't even know if we have this year. It could be
Right.
early 2027 or not. But we are not going to be the country that has American privilege right now, because energy is energy. And we look at the world, it runs on energy. If it stops or if it gets rationed, let's say energy gets rationed, that means that all the factories get rationed oil. So instead of producing at the
Hmm.
capacity they can produce, they're at half capacity, which still creates scarcity. It
Yes.
creates scarcity in everything you need: plastic, shoes, clothing, food. Any bit of production goes at half capacity. And right now, our farmers are going bankrupt because they're not at half capacity, they're at zero capacity. It is not profitable for them to produce food for us.
Not only that, but we also see people taking action because they are watching the news.
Mm-hmm.
People are aware. They're watching YouTube, they're listening to the farmers, they're seeing what's going on with the oil, and they're taking action. So when the shelves get empty, that's it.
Yeah.
So the ones who are preparing now, the ones who are listening, I mean, like I tell my children, have your own brain, do your own thinking.
Yeah.
Everybody does have to make their own educated decision about what they're going to do with their money and how they're going to take care of their family in the event that the shelves are empty. But there are people that are taking action right now who are going to be prepared. And then there are the ones who are listening right now who are saying that's not going to happen, who are not going to do their own research, who are not going to read Bloomberg or look
Yeah.
at WCO. They're not going to do anything but just say, you know what, that's not going to happen to me. I don't have to worry about that because we always bounce back. But what happens if we don't? What happens if what you think with oil, the prices go up and they're going to come back down? The food is going to come back. They're going to grow more food. It's going to be fine. Our government wouldn't allow that to happen. How are they not? What's happening right now? They're at a standoff right now about oil, and it hasn't ceased.
Yeah.
And when will it? If it will, the implications are already here. We've already got to start thinking about what our family will do and
Mhm.
how we're going to, I'm not going to say survive and live, like the world's going to catch fire tomorrow. But you just want to make sure that your family is going to be one of the ones that's going to be aware and prepared.
Yeah, and I want to say the catching fire has started
Yes.
and it's not going away. So we have the perfect storm between AI, and
Hmm.
AI can create solutions for us, and it can also reshift how we work, how we do everything else, and it's doing that right now. So jobs that were, you were skilled at are being done by AI, which means you need to reskill. And the
Yes.
reskill isn't reskill to go find another job. That's not the answer, because you're competing with cheaper and cheaper and cheaper labor.
Hmm.
So it's like your cost of living is here and your pay is here, you're not going to win. So, what happens is, what do you need to do to win? And that's what we want to talk about right now. It's like, what do you need to do to win? For those people who are paying attention, thank you. For those people who are listening in to the replay or you're listening in live right now, I want to be able to tell you that you're going to have to be adaptable and flexible at whatever you do. And so I'm going to share with you what I'm doing. I'm going to share with you. I'm going to let, Monique share with you what she's doing.
Hmm.
And what's important to understand is that if you build or you buy wealth, you become stable. If you remain in the system, your instability is guaranteed. The instability is here. So, stability over here means, how on earth do I feed and protect myself? How do I buy real assets?
Hmm.
How do I get to the point where the skills I have are making me money? And I'm going to share with you how we do that. And I'm going to make an invitation at the end of it. We have a
Yes.
free gift today, so that when you are doing this, you have some sort of system to look out for that's going to help you. But I just want to talk about the first thing that you need. Everybody needs something called a lifeboat business. Now,
Hmm.
we're always sold a dream business, the dream business that's going to make us seven figures, eight figures, nine figures. We're looking for
Hmm.
that dream business.
Right.
And that possibility is still there. You can do that. Or a lifeboat business is the business that's supposed to stabilize your life. So every yacht, doesn't matter whether it's a 36-foot yacht or a 136-foot yacht, a 136-meter yacht,
Hmm.
it doesn't matter. Every single boat has a lifeboat on it, because if the hull cracks or you bump into something and you're taking on water in your boat,
Yes.
you deploy your lifeboat and you get in your lifeboat, because it's going to get you to shore while your boat is sinking or your boat can't move or it's just dead at sea. And what we've become really used to is calling the Coast Guard. And right now, that's kind of what everybody's doing right now. Well, I'll call the Coast Guard. The Coast Guard will take care of me. Not when so many boats are sinking. They can only help so many people. They're not interested in helping you, they're interested in becoming rich themselves. So you
Yes.
have to build a lifeboat. Your lifeboat isn't a dream business. It's not the 7, 8, it's the 4 to 5 figure. It's like,
Hmm.
okay, this makes five to $10,000 a month, so I can just live and keep my family safe and figure out what to
Yes.
do first. Can a lifeboat business turn into a 7-figure business? Yes. But here's the key thing about a lifeboat business. A lifeboat business has a few things to it. It's one offer, not several. It's
Hmm.
one client, not several.
Hmm.
It's it's one platform, not several. It's inexpensive to run. You don't want
Yes.
something that costs you thousands and thousands of dollars. And the way that we've designed this, and everybody who has worked with us, everybody is making money on their business when it was designed this way. But you don't want to spend 20, 30, $50,000 on a high ticket offer when you haven't even stabilized your income. And
Yes.
stabilizing that needs to happen first. So it's inexpensive
Hmm.
and it's not so oil dependent. You have to have a business that is everything's energy dependent, but you want to be the most independent you can be.
Yes. Yes.
So you have a business that is made to stabilize that and you control the money. It doesn't go through a third party where you have to wait, where you have to ask permission. It's like you buy, they say you sell, they buy, the money comes to you.
Hmm.
It's that in that direct thing so that you can figure out what you want to do with that money. And that's the most important thing. And a lifeboat business is made to deploy quickly. So a yacht takes years to make. Years. It
Yes.
could take 2 to 5 years to get your
Yes.
yacht built
Hmm.
in a yacht yard. But when you hit the lifeboat, it deploys immediately.
Hmm.
And you can have a lifeboat business up and running in 30 days. That quick, or I've done it in 14 days. And the lifeboat business is what I run my wealth on. I look for opportunities where there are cash flow veins and I deploy a lifeboat business. So, for example, I own a publishing company and I own the rights to my book.
Hmm.
I've been at a top 10 publisher, but I have 48 books out. 48. Now, I don't know what somebody's going to buy this month, but I do know that somewhere in my 48 books, people are purchasing, purchasing, purchasing. And every month I get money from books purchasing or purchased. And speaking of that, we have our, a shameless plug. We have our new book we wrote together called Hidden Rules. It's what they, don't tell you after they tell you about wealth. We're
Yes.
uncovering that. So that's going to be out. But I want to make sure that people understand why the difference between a dream business and a lifeboat business. A dream
Yeah.
business costs thousands of dollars and years to develop. A lifeboat business gets deployed in 30 days. And if you do it before you need it,
Hmm.
then you will have this stability if something happens. Like, Felicia, when she said, I'm scared of leaving work because of the uncertainty. And you have to build something. Well, you don't want something that's going to take you another 8 hours. Go ahead.
When I started my lifeboat business, and I want the listeners to really understand this, you don't have to pay a bunch of money up front. You really want something inexpensive. Not only that, but you already have a skill set. If you're already
Mhm.
making six figures, I mean, even if you're not, you already have a skill set. You already are teaching, doing the work every day. You have a skill set that you can either train or you can build on top of. People always say, "Oh, I need to go get a coach and I need to pay them $10,000," and then you're going to sit down and you're not going to get what you thought you were going to get. We both had coaches before, and that's just not the case. You're going to get nothing that's going to really help you out in life. There's been very few people that have been able to do that, and Vickie's one of them. But if you are looking for a way to offset the inflation in your income, and you don't want to sell off everything, and you don't want to go out here and get a second job and drive for Uber or DoorDash or Walmart, whatever, then you start that and you grow it. Does it take time? It's not going to be overnight. It's not going to be that. What is it like? Make $100,000 in a day hype? You know, we're beyond that. We're beyond that at this point. We just need something that's going to sustain us. We don't want to replace our full income overnight. What we want to do is close that gap. And that's what resonated with me. I saw the opportunity and I said, you know what? I don't want to be in a position where I have a big family and I used to have a lavish lifestyle, right? So, I'm bringing that down. But the thing is, you don't want to change your whole life. You don't want to have such a jolt and a shock to your system that you're not able to keep up and now you're in debt. people who are worried about their credit score, now the credit score is jacked up. Now they're living day to day, but they're drowning. And once you become a high earner, that can be crippling mentally. What did I do wrong? What do I do next? Like I said, you can't call your financial advisor. It's just so many things that go on. Like I was saying before, I'm up at night, like on Reddit, like searching, typing in stuff, deleting comments, like who knows, who knows? Going on YouTube, to my favorite people, it's not being talked about. So that's another reason why the book, The Hidden Rules, No One Taught You About Wealth, is coming out the end of this month. Is because we knew that people needed to know. But at the same time, you're going to need a lifeboat business to keep you afloat, to sustain you during those times.
Thank you for that. I want to be honest right now because you made a very good point. You know that, hi, you can make $100,000 in 7, 14, 30 days. That's a lie. Or at least it's not been my experience to make that in that way. That's very much a dream business.
Mm-hmm.
However, I have built more than one lifeboat business. I use them all the time. Once I found out the system, I was like, oh, this stabilizes me. So I'm going to tell you, I've made $30,000 in a month. I've made $12,000 in a month. I've made, 25. I've done this over and over again. I've done $5,000 a month. So but I have systems in play, and I have a bit of influence because I have 48 best-selling books and some of that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But what I did do when I started, I didn't have that credibility. I just had a design in my head. But here's what I want to tell you. Our system right now for the lifeboat business, we built AI agents inside the lifeboat business, and I have cut probably 35 hours a week off of that. It was designed for the single woman with children because
Yes.
you don't have much time then. And what I'm looking at when I build this is how fast can they set it up and start creating wealth? If they
Mm-hmm.
follow the plan, the longest it's taken somebody, the soonest it's taken somebody is 8 days from launch. They have clients paying them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the longest, because somebody had stuff happen, was 90 days. But what you're looking is for stability in cash.
Yes.
So the process of having a lifeboat business means that you have one product, one offer, one funnel, and you want to have it so that it is inexpensive to run. If you're one funnel, one this, one that, and you're looking at having a high ticket product, I think people need to dial back the high ticket product. So there's two ways that you can actually get clients to pay you. You can have a few people paying you a boatload of money, which I
Mm-hmm.
think this is dying. People don't trust this anymore.
Right.
Or you can offer a low ticket item, do something where they can meet you, know you, trust you, like you, and be in front of them and actually deliver real value. And if you look at me,
Yes.
the way I deal with my groups and my clients and my people is I deliver massive value, probably about $50 to $100,000 a year coaching for free for them when they're part of that group. I want them to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
I want testimonials. I want to go, this person won, this person won, this person won, this person won. This is the system that's developed and it's working fast. I want to be the solution, not necessarily trying to bleed the most wealth. And those coaches who are all high ticket offer
Mm-hmm.
because somebody told you that your value was, more worth and whatever. It's like, if you don't have proof of concept, then you don't have value. And
Right.
so getting proof of concept is important. But what I'm looking at is with energy right now, as it is, you have to be careful about what you're building. Like, I wouldn't start a landscape company right now because it's so oil and gas dependent.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yes.
look at,
Yes.
I probably would pick a laundromat over a landscape business. And I'm thinking to myself, what can I do if you're a single mom? I don't care where you are. I don't care if you think you're dead broke or you think you're a multimillionaire. What is going to keep your business stable? If you're a multimillionaire with a multimillionaire business right now, and oil and energy got too expensive to where your multi-millionaire business just started to deflate because the cost of energy was eating everything that you had in there,
Right.
you have to have a plan B. That's why your lifeboat is there.
Yes.
Every dream business needs a lifeboat. And that's what we want to tell you right now. Part of the thing is, you've got to get out of the dependency system and into the undependent system. I'm undependent from these things. You have
Yes.
to have more than one income. You're not going to survive what's coming if you continue to say, I only need one income, I only have one job. Stop driving for Uber. Here's the thing that they lie to you about. They know that you want to control your time. So I don't want to control my time. I want to control my wealth. And that's vastly different. You want to control your assets. So they're like, Uber, you can Uber whenever you want. You can do this. And it's kind of a great side hustle. And people are like mad because when they get to the house and they deliver the pizza and they only get $5 for a tip, they go, I just drove across town for $5. Well, guess what? $5 isn't going to pay for that gallon of gas anymore.
It's
And
not.
you have to start thinking about, how you're going to make money based on, if you're so energy based, you have to think of another way. Online businesses are going to boom because
Yes.
they're not as energy based as landscape businesses or Uber.
Hmm.
Don't try to control your time. Make the bridge from here to here so that you control your wealth and stability, not your
Yeah.
time. You're going to have to work a little bit harder, but that stability is there. Did you want to share anything about that too?
With, you have a skill set. Everybody has a skill set. And I know we're going to be talking about auditing supplies, but people also need to audit what they can do and really look at the cost of how much real estate agents right now, especially the ones, so you have the ones who are the top 10%, top five, that
Yeah.
were making money in commercial luxury real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have the average person. The average real estate agent only makes about $50,000. And the buyer agents are showing between 10 and 12 homes before a person decides on the home that they want right now.
Wow.
So now they're driving around all over the place, spending gas, but not getting a commission yet.
Yeah.
And so that piece of it, and most real estate agents, they're driving nice cars. They're driving
They
nice
have
cars.
to.
They're
Yeah.
not driving energy efficient cars. They're just not, but they're driving around town still. And they're feeling the brunt of it right now. But
Mm-hmm.
if you pivot, I mean, I had to pivot to online, I had to pivot to doing deals international. The whole driving around, going to see a client, getting 3%, that's gone. Because now you have an app where it'll open the door for you. You can do your own tour. The mortgage and the loan officer can be replaced because AI is writing the offer letters.
Yeah.
You're going by the wayside. And the sales jobs, you know how I feel about that already. We talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
It will hype you up to the point where you're starting to, question your character. It's so sales is so competitive. It's
Yeah.
healthy to an extent, but when it becomes unhealthy and it starts, you know, attacking your integrity, then sales, real estate is sales. It's sales all day long. But if you have a skill set, if you start auditing, okay, how much is it going to cost for Uber? If I'm an Uber driver, that's gasoline. If I put that in my car, I have to drive across town. How much time am I spending? How much gas am I spending? The lifeboat business starts to make sense. We're no longer being controlled, but we're now controlling our wealth
Yeah.
with the lifeboat business. And I think a lot of people, once they start to realize and understand that part of it, will say, I need a lifeboat business.
Yeah.
The other thing, time getting your time back is great, but you're not really getting your time back. And now you're spending money instead of making money. You're paying Uber and Lyft money instead of you really making the money, which you count your hours of time, the gas, wear and tear on your vehicle,
And that's all the
repairs,
passive
tires.
income. You're
Yes.
so right. Yeah. When you talk about the wear and tear on your vehicle, I don't think a lot of people consider that, but like the Lyft riders, the people who are driving Uber and Lyft, all they show on YouTube is the crazy ones that get in your car, and I'm thinking,
I know what you're talking
yeah,
about.
that doesn't sound fun to me. But when you need to be somewhere where you're building assets with your business. So
Hmm.
the lifeboat business, when you build it, we build 8 assets, 8 all at once with one process. And so one of the things that is an asset, you learn all about assets inside the community. We write and talk about that by that. But so here's the thing. People have to start acting now to
Yes.
make things viable for them. Moving from the dependent on systems and I feel stuck and I'm overtaxed and everything else into a lifeboat that's going to get them to shore. Now, the
Hmm.
next thing that they need is a map to shore. And
Yes.
that means you kind of need to audit where you're
Hmm.
at. And
Yes.
to me, that's one of the biggest areas where most people they they don't even, as long as everything is running the same, everybody likes what is it, Groundhog Day. They like to know what they're doing in the morning, what they're doing in the evening, where I go to work from this time to this time. This is when I go to the gym. I go to see
Hmm.
my kids and I have dinner with my family and then I do this. And it's this system over and over and
Yes.
over again.
Yes.
And children need that kind of stability in their life. And yet, when it becomes unstable, parents become reactive.
Hmm.
They don't become proactive.
No.
And I know that you have a big family, but you are so proactive. And I want to talk about what you audit for your family because your family is so big. What do you consider in the audit? Let's talk about, what do you have? What do you need? What's exposed? What isn't exposed? What do you owe and what do you own? Those are like things to audit about. And I was wondering if you'd be willing to share the auditing process.
The first thing we have is cash on hand.
Hmm.
We've always had cash just in case the systems went down, just in case your bank card wasn't working. You just want to make sure that you have cash. Not everybody has cash because we're just so used to popping out that card,
That
especially after
plastic.
COVID. Yeah, you don't want to touch cash anymore. The germs on it. You're going to need a reserve. You're going to need a cash reserve. Food supplies. I always say no one's going to feed me. They're just not. They're going to feed their own family. They see us coming. They're like, you know what? We can't do it. We cannot do it. So we
Yeah.
decide to be the ones who say, welcome here, instead of us trying to get welcome somewhere else. So we have canned goods. As you know, we started a garden. We've got the farm coming, and just having and growing our own food supply is a game changer.
Now, I want to talk about that for a second because I know that in the past, you have lived the Lux life all your life. You
Yes,
got the trips, you got the planes, you got the this, you got the that. And you were even headed on a trip to Africa, I think it was,
yes,
to look at a few deals over there.
hmm,
And you were like, okay, this war is going on. I could go, but could I get home? We didn't know. So you had made plans about that. And
yes.
here's the thing, I understand that you were in this transition. You were going from living, performing, being in this, having fingertip things, and then suddenly saying no to yourself. No,
Yes.
this is not what we're going to do. Now you're going this completely other way, which I think is fascinating and so cool, where you have decided that you wanted to steward your wealth more, and you wanted to steward your income, your food, your business. You're taking control of what you used to outsource because
Yeah.
you were living the Lux life. And the Lux life is, I know this. I have accountants at my fingertips. I have attorneys at my fingertips. I have offers at my fingertips. I love the word. I'm an investor. It makes me feel important, blah, blah, blah.
Hmm. Hmm.
And you let go of that and you say, okay, I'm going to start stewarding my own deals. I'm going to start stewarding my own family. We're going to become more independent. And tell me that crossover between this and this. How's it been? How does it feel? How do you do it when you're like, all your friends are over here doing this, and then you're choosing not to do that?
I'm not gonna lie. I'm being 100% transparent right now. It's difficult some days. I literally went to an award ceremony at a school, and the moms came in and they were all dressed to the nine. I was like, "Oh, she did it! Oh, good job!" You know what I mean? I'm saying she killed it, right? But in my mind, I'm like, who is she trying to impress? Well, she's
That's
trying to
right.
impress me, and she's doing a good job. But at the same time, now I know that's a self-esteem issue.
That's right.
The mindset change that has taken place no longer will allow me to see it as that's a great thing. Now it's almost a sad thing.
I
And
see.
for me to be in that circle, it's had to detach myself from a lot of people in a lot of different ways. Hey, let's go on a trip. Let's go out to eat. Let's go here. Let's go there. But then you got to dress up, and then you got to put on the show.
Yeah.
And your phone is out, your camera's out. You're not even doing it for the enjoyment of going to the event and just enjoying yourself, enjoying the food, having a good conversation. Did anybody see me? If no one saw me, then wait a minute. Did you see how good I looked? Were you here? Do you know that I was at this restaurant? Do you know that I can do this now? And just being in a room full of other accredited investors and the swag that you have to have in order to be in the room and the qualifications, it just makes you feel so good. But then when you get in there and the deals don't make sense, it's a lot of paper ownership and not primary assets. And so the mindset shift won't allow you to engage in, oh yeah, sign me up, we're gonna own a hotel, we're gonna at this point you're like, well, that doesn't make sense. That's not a
Hmm.
good deal.
Yeah.
And
And
your primary circle,
yeah.
your circle of your sphere of influence and everybody else who's doing that no longer looks the same. It doesn't feel the same. And so it is hard some days. Some days, I mean, I still have a closet full of stuff. I'm like, oh God, I got to get rid of it. Then I'm like, ooh, but wait a minute. I remember when I wore that, and sometimes it's a struggle. I jokingly say I'm a part of Performers Anonymous. I need to go to a meeting, and we need to sit down and let's talk. Because some days it's like, I need to go back. I need to go back. I love that dress. I love that outfit. Oh, I love that restaurant. I got an invitation. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. What did you get an invitation to? To spend your money that you're not going to get back, honestly. I mean, in some
Yeah.
instances, once you invest, it's risk.
Several
It's high risk,
times.
high
Yeah.
reward. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I have to teach my children too. I have to teach them that you can't perform well. That's first of all, it's not even performing wealth, it's performing riches.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
you're not
right.
performing wealth because that's not what
That's a
wealth
great
does.
distinction, actually. That right there is a great distinction.
And so when I'm talking to them about being prepared, about why we have Kangas, why we have water, why we have batteries, why we have all kind of different radios. We are prepared. Again, it's because we have a large family. But in this world, in this economy right now, I'd rather be prepared than unprepared. I'd
Yeah.
rather have the resources in the garden and know, okay, if anything happens, you're good. Like my blood pressure is down. I'm not worried. I'm not stressed out.
Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's interesting because the switch is so um it's so different than what you would think. So the only thing I likened to it was um back in the day I used to smoke,
Hmm.
and all my friends used to smoke, and I hang out with smokers. We'd go to the smoker section of the restaurant and everything else. And I decided that I didn't want to smoke anymore. And when I'm not kidding when I say this to you, I was so addicted to smoking that it took me over 200 times to quit smoking.
Wow.
200, 200, 200, 200 times to quit smoking. And what I found out was I was telling my mind, I'm trying to quit smoking. So somebody would come over to the house and I'd be like, please don't smoke in here. I'm trying to quit smoking. And when you smoke,
Hmm.
it makes me want to smoke. I'm trying to quit smoking. So I'd say that over and over again, please don't. I'm trying to quit smoking. I'm trying to quit smoking. My brain understood that I was still a smoker and
Yes.
it wanted that cigarette, but I was trying to resist it. So what happened was I didn't quit until the thing that I told myself I was doing was I'm now a non-smoker. It's like, "Hi, I'm a non-smoker." And I was
Hmm.
telling my brain I was a non-smoker, not I was trying to quit smoking. I'm now a non-smoker. So I went through the non-smoker and that worked for me. My brain suddenly went, "We don't smoke. I'm a non-smoker." And I got it from the non-smoking section back in the days because they had
Hmm.
smokers sections and non-smoking sections in restaurants. Yes, I'm that old. Stop it. Okay, so anyway, what ended up happened was when I quit and I got that done, all of a sudden, all my friends who smoked dissolved, and I had all new friends that were non-smokers.
Hmm.
And I don't know how that happened. I didn't hate them and they didn't hate me. There was no, well, she doesn't smoke anymore. We're out of here. That didn't happen. I'm not quite sure how it happened, but suddenly the friendships that I had where people were smokers just lovingly dissolved. And I didn't have to say goodbye to anybody. Then I met all these new people and they were all things that I wanna do that I'm an outdoorsy kinda girl, and I'm
Hmm.
kind of always been that little tomboy. I like to ride bikes, climb mountains, play in the mud, go fishing. I mean, it's just those are the things I like. I love mountain biking. But so now I was going hiking with these people, etcetera, and these people like to have coffee and smoke, and I did not have coffee. I know, believe it or not, I did not have coffee for 3 years because I didn't want every time the taste of coffee touched my tongue, immediately I would want a cigarette.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
And so I removed everything that triggered that. So a lot of people, it's beer, but I don't like the taste of beer and I don't drink. And so I didn't have coffee for 3 years, and I went through this metamorphose, and that metamorphose, I think, is kind of the thing that you're going through when you have all these Lux people, and I'm certain some of them people are like, "I don't know what happened to the rights, but something's wrong." So
Oh
and,
no.
you have made a decision like the I don't do this performance of wealth anymore. I build wealth, buy wealth,
Hmm.
create wealth in such a way that I have ownership and control over my wealth, which most people don't realize that when you have a financial advisor, because you're really proud, yeah, my advisor makes you sound like you're more than you are. My advisor does this and he says this. And what happens is you don't have access to your money when you need it or want it. And everybody watching has gone through a time where they were like, do I need to tap into the 401k right now and get some money out for us? It's like a second choice, or but our insurance policy has money. How about if we borrow our own money and then pay it back with interest? Which doesn't make sense to me. When you
Right.
have to start asking somebody and you don't have control of your wealth in such a way where you can allocate it when you need to and how you need
Mm-hmm.
to, it doesn't make sense. So I have this thing. I create cash flows. I'm not dependent on a single cash flow. I have several cash flows. They just come
Mm-hmm.
in. And that makes it so that I don't have to save. I want to flow. And there's a difference. You've been taught to save, 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 save for a rainy day.
Right.
And when the rainy day happens, you don't have access to your rainy day money
No.
without penalties, fees, dues, taxes, and everything else that you can get hit with. And when you have cash flows, you have money coming in and you're allocating that money into the direction you want it to go. So if you have it go to a 401k because you have money that you want in there, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not dependent on accessing it because you have the cash flows.
Yes.
And flowing money is easier than saving money.
Mm-hmm.
And so, what you learn in the lifeboat business is how to build flows of money and not savings of money. And I know it sounds very contrarian and almost blasphemous to say, you know, try not to save your money for a rainy day. Try to
Mm-hmm.
create flows for a rainy day. And what do you think wealthy people do? Do you think they save for a rainy day, or do you think they have flows for a rainy day?
Flows. Absolutely. They're not saving. They're definitely not in the public market.
That's
Market's
right.
calling it out. Yeah.
So every time you go to one of those big spectacular deals where they're going to pitch you a hotel or pitch you some real estate or pitch you into a business or pitch you into something, you have to ask yourself, am I saving money or risking money, or am I flowing money? And you
Mm-hmm.
have to know if you're saving, risking, or flowing, because what the the upper middle class is taught is to save or risk. And that, does that make sense to you?
No, not at all.
So the thing
That's what I've
is,
been doing, and it's not working.
yeah. So the thing is, what's really important for you to understand is energy and oil affects all of these things.
Yes.
And things now are more risky, and they're not telling you that they're more risky. So if you look at if you look at the Dow Jones, and you're taking a look at the top companies, say like Kellogg's.
Mm-hmm.
Kellogg's needs grains to build cereals and to create cereals. And if the farmers can't deliver those grains, even though it's a Dow Jones Industrial 30 company, what's going to happen if there's no fertilizer to grow those grains? If there's no farmers out in the field to harvest any of those fruits, vegetables, and grains? And we've lost a lot of them because of the immigration laws that, or the immigration
Mm-hmm.
police that have been there. We've lost a lot of workers, and Americans aren't out there picking fruit.
Absolutely not.
And so, what happens to the Dow Jones investment that you've just made, the S&P 500, any of those companies that need energy to produce? Your tertiary wealth that was a little more stable has
Mm-hmm.
become riskier. And
Very.
what happens when you audit yourself? You audit yourself to find where your risk is at. You want to say, is my income at risk? Is the wealth that I have going to be at risk because of lack of energy? Is my business going to be at risk because of lack of energy? And is your job going to be at risk for lack of energy? Because,
Mm-hmm.
screw AI. AI needs energy. If
Yes.
if they don't have energy, or they don't have enough energy, then what happens is there's no AI. So what do you have in that, where when you're auditing that, audit if you have a family and you're thinking exactly like Monique thought, nobody's feeding my family. They cannot consistently feed my family. I have a huge family, so I have to switch my mindset. I
Mm-hmm.
have to be the place where you can go to get food or help grow food or learn to grow food, all of those things. That's what I have to be. I can't become this. So
Mhm.
suddenly, when you're looking at your own food production, if you just grow enough food for you to eat, then you can have that off, but you're auditing your life. So let me just ask you something. Did you notice that when the fires broke out in California a few years, like
Mhm.
California has been burning every year for years now, and
Yes.
suddenly the insurance or people are going, you know what? We are not insuring new builds. So if you're not insuring new builds, then what does that do to your home price or the value of your neighborhood? And now in Florida, they have that same thing. There's so many climate change incidents here.
Mhm.
We're not going to insure you for this kind of area. And so suddenly the value of the asset you've built, you want to audit that. You want to know ahead of time. It's
Mhm.
like the reason you audit is because it teaches you how to steward your money.
Yes.
You have to look, where am I permission based? Where do I have control? What do I owe? What do I own? What's going to be disrupted? What's going to be disrupted? And just like she said, hi Jess, nice to see you on. When you see what they're going to be disrupting, what are those things that are going to be
Mhm.
disrupted? You want to know right away. You want to know that you have a backup plan and
Yes.
what's in it. Do you have prescriptions you need or medications? Do you have who's in your tribe? Because the next thing you need to build when you have cash is the right alliances.
Yes. Can I say something real quick about that, Vickie?
Absolutely. Yeah, you go.
So, and I want the listeners to know that I'm doing this currently, right? That I'm actually doing this. This is something. It's not so we're so far removed. This is so far fetched of an idea that no one can do it. I'm doing it today. I'm talking to farmers at my local farmer market. I am actually a part of a community garden. My kids are working the community garden. And if you're telling me right now your kids will not get on board, I have several children who were like, you know what, we'll do it. If you explain it in a way that they can understand, I mean, at their age level, don't give them too much too soon. You'll scare them to death, right? But
Mhm.
if you go out into your community, shake hands with them, talk to them, grow food with them. Like we were just talking, how I went from performing riches and I had to let go of some friends and I had to let go of some places I was going. Now I'm going to a garden and I'm meeting new people. My circle is becoming different, but it's the right kind of circle. And it's not people who are going to drain me all the time and just take, and deplete everything that I have. It's somebody that actually has skills that will benefit me as well. So in our alliance, we have people who can do different things. There's an apothecary, there's a horticulture, there's people who know how to can goods. And so
Mhm.
now I'm learning and I'm getting excited because if that happens, if anything ever happens, I know I always have someone that I can go to and we have a connection. And that's what you want. You don't want anybody that's just going to, deplete everything that you have because now you're learning, you're listening, and you're going to be prepared. You're going to take action. Now you're also going to have to go out there and make sure that you're protecting what you have with the right people.
Yeah.
Don't get the wrong people.
Yeah.
That just take.
Yeah.
But
And
I'm currently doing it now, and it can be done even with the family, even with children.
And you know what's so interesting? Some of the wealthiest people in the world, I mean, they dress like everyone else dresses. They don't try to, I'm so fashionable. But if you take a look at them, some of them dress in jeans and everything else. They work their farm, they work their ranches, they
Hmm.
work their businesses. One of my favorite people who does this, I don't know if you ever get a chance to see peak peak prosperity. Um, that's my role model. This guy is so awesome. But one of the things that is there is that there are wealthy people who respect the earth and
Hmm.
respect the stewardship that they have been afforded.
Yes.
And then there are those that want to show off their wealth. And I got to be honest, I was the show off the wealth person too. Everybody did it. And, I've been married now, I don't know, going on 20 years, something like that. And it is my spouse that has the one that has said, you know what? You're living too loud.
Hmm.
So the reason that conversation happened is because when we live loud, we are hiding our self esteem issue.
Yes.
And that's really the truth. If you're living loud and
Hmm.
you're with your picture, 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 you are actually hiding that you want to belong, you want to fit in. And what the most empowering thing you can do in your life is be okay at not fitting in anymore and
Yes.
actually saying, what is the life that I would like to experience right now? So, not what's trendy, not
Hmm.
what's, not what's going to be the buzzword of the day or, you know, the the new slang term for a really chic life or something cuz those will
Hmm.
be created all the time.
Yes.
Those buzzwords get thrown out all the time. And one of the most important things that you can do is opt out of that mindset first. Because
Hmm.
when you take your own mindset, you have to dare to ask yourself, what do I want? Not what is being pitched to me,
Right.
not what is being sold to me, not what is I'm on search for. Like, where's my purpose? Where's my purpose? Where's my purpose? Your purpose is whatever you say it is. See, God and you want the same thing. Th-
Right.
This is this is the thing. We think we're separated from that divine. If you get inspired to write about, to do something else, that inspiration is coming from somewhere. It's not just coming from your brain. Your
Right.
brain likes to follow. Your brain likes to fit in. Your brain doesn't want you in charge.
Hmm.
And so here's the thing, you are a soul and you have a brain. Not, yeah, I have a soul and I am the brain. And that's the difference. Your thinking about wealth has to be first shifted by that mindset point. So if we look at that, when we're auditing, we have to audit our attitude, what we believe, and you have to challenge yourself. When you challenge what you
Hmm.
believe is possible for you will find that the divine starts helping you create the thing you want. Like, how many times have you seen, and I'm talking to you, Monique, I'm going to ask a question. I
Hmm.
mean, it was like, how many times when you saw this, did you ask for clarity? How did you audit yourself saying, something ain't right here? And so if something isn't right here, then what do you do to get some clarity for yourself? I know you do a lot of Reddit, and I know you do a lot of research and a lot of book learning.
Hmm. I do a lot of praying, and I
Mhm.
was praying to get the answer. A lot of times we're waiting for divine revelation, and He's like, "No, I need you to go do something practical and earthly. I need you to go online. I need you to
Mhm.
find. I'm going to give you the answer, but it may not be downloaded in the way that you think it's going to be downloaded."
Yeah.
And it was friction that caused me. And I want to say this too, that we're a country that's $39 trillion in debt. We are used to spending. This is what we do. Debt is America. But at the same time, when you stop performing, or you're, I'm sorry, not that you stop performing, but when you're forced to stop performing. I wasn't forced, but I know people who now feel the crunch of it.
Yeah.
They won't tell you. They won't tell you. If they say, hey, we need to borrow $20,000. You're like, for what? Oh yeah, because this will just sell your vehicle. I can't sell. I can't sell it. If I sell it, they'll know something's wrong.
Mhm.
And that's why it was automatically what's going on. Why are you starting a farm? Is everything okay? Yeah, I'm just having a mindset shift. 'Cause I'm not, it's not that we're in a bad way. It's actually that we're in a good way. But when you're used to spending, and right now, that spending can hurt you.
Mhm.
That I need attention, I need a self esteem pat on the back. And you're like, our vehicles right now, gas is so high. Gas is just so high
Mhm.
that when you have a premium car, your grade, 93 gas, you're going to the pump and you're like, I need a raise on my job.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
I go to the grocery store like, I need a raise again.
Mhm.
Electric bill, your water bill, everything's going up. So when you're continuing to perform, that friction there, something's going to cause you to hit rock bottom or to do a self evaluation. And in my mind, I had to say the first thing was something's off, something's not right. Why am I doing this? Am I doing this because everybody else is? Like, it doesn't make sense. And I'm a numbers person. So if the math isn't mathing, then I have an issue.
Yeah. Yeah.
Explain
You
it
know,
to me
it's
one more time.
you know, one of the things that I love about who you were and who you are now is how you trust yourself. Because when you're performing wealth, you're so busy trying to fit in, do the trendy thing, be in the most the thing that gives you a feeling of elitism and
Mm-hmm.
importance that you stop trusting yourself. You have to listen to somebody else to fit in. When you decide to listen to you, that mindset shift is such a transformation because you have to learn to trust your own gut, trust your own perspective, trust what's happening. Like, we're out here right now touting that, holy crap, it's going to hit the fan in a way that we've never seen in the United States. So you have to understand, you said something really important. In America, the streets used to be paved with gold. In
Mm-hmm.
America, that was it. The streets were paid for gold. There's opportunity everywhere.
Yes.
That's when the dollar was gold back. Now
Mm-hmm.
the streets are paved with debt. It's not paved with gold. America is not the opportunity it once was.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that switch, we have so much debt. It's just like a home that has a wall, but it has 39 layers of paint or 39 layers of something that's between it and the real opportunity. What
Right.
I'm trying to share with you is that the streets aren't paved with gold, they're paved with debt. And that debt has to come home to roost. And because now the government is using debt, they've taught us all to use
Mm-hmm.
debt. They've taught us all to use credit cards to do everything because the streets are paved with debt. And as long as the streets are paved with that debt, it doesn't benefit you. All
Yeah.
you get is a thing or a stuff that is going to wear out. But the debt trap benefits anybody who owns the debt structure. So, Visa, MasterCard, student loans, anything, all of these
Mm-hmm.
structures where there are interest payments, that's all there. And that's part of the audit
Yeah.
that you're looking at, where she said, you have to start saying no to that. And I thought, when you trust yourself and your gut is saying no, and your gut is saying that's not the investment for me, and everybody else is hustling up the table to go yes and sign it, and you're left out, and people are saying, hey, man, why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing this? That's the same peer pressure you get in high school. Why didn't you buy these Nike Jordans shoes? Why didn't you fit in? We don't like to fit in. Well, guess what? Wealthy people don't fit in with the masses. And that's one of the things that they have. Remember, the masses are taught to save and they are taught to invest, but they
Yes.
aren't taught to make flows. Wealthy people make flows, and that's the thing they make. And so
Mm-hmm.
your audit for this particular time has to be so important because the thing we're in isn't like, oh, it's an economic recession. We fell down and now we have 24 months of really bad, but then it's going to go ahead and repair itself. Energy doesn't repair itself. It's not like the oil that's in the ground has a season of nobody taking oil and it fills up again. That's not what happens. It is a one-way road to depletion, 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 depletion. So what happens is we begin to manage the oil and energy differently. And when we manage it differently, it creates supply and demand differences. So the usual output that we put out, food, everything else, is going to be more expensive. So what you buy is going to be more expensive. So
Mm-hmm.
your debt is going to be more expensive if you don't stop yourself now. And the thing that I want to say to everyone, or what I want everyone to understand, that I'd like to share, is that when you audit yourself, you get to be aware of where you stand and what you need to do first, second, third, because you have that priority. And don't we have an audit sheet, right? That we
Yes.
are. Tell us about that, please, before I forget.
Yeah. So, one, what we're talking about today is something that you can find. I mean, the data is out there. The data is out there. This is a form of a checklist for you to go through your life, what you have, what you own, what you control, and even your circle, your community, and say, what do I have? What cash do I have on hand? What food supplies do I have on hand? Who is my alliance in case something does happen? And it's going to be able to tell you, there might be a brownout. There might be a situation where you're going to need other kind of resources. So do you have a generator? Do you have, if legally, if you're able to, do you have gas at your home, a container? Are you able to do those things and have those things? And if you do, great. And if not, it's going to score you and it's going to say you might want to go get this, this, and this. Canned goods are really important. But now I'm learning how to can my own food, right? So do you have a certain set of skills? And once you learn where you're at, once you can really see tangibly in black and white where you're at today, you've been listening this far, we're going to give you the link. You're going to be able to make better choices and decisions going forward with what we have right now with the shortage in energy.
Yeah. I because that's what's going to be there. We have to rethink what is our energy, going to cost us to run our business, run our life, run our this. I mean, it's not that it's there. It's like right now in the Philippines, they have the first with the energy emergency, and they're rationing. It's
Mm-hmm.
like maybe your kids play sports everywhere, and right now you can drive anywhere and be anywhere and pick them up and participate. But if they start rationing gas and they start rationing it on this day, you can buy this much or have this much, then suddenly you have to rethink what you're doing. And
Mm-hmm.
so that rethinking what we're doing is, you know, something that we have to create awareness. And you were talking about gas prices. I'm like, where I live way up in the mountains, way up in the mountains in Colorado. I live at 8,000 feet, and there are ranches all in the valley, farmers that are generational, like
Mm-hmm.
third to the fifth generation owning these farms. And they have these big diesel trucks, the diesel trucks that plow the fields, the diesel trucks they drive. And
Yeah.
for me, it's an hour to get anywhere. If I'm in the wilderness actually, and it's an hour to a hospital, an hour to a restaurant. I'm just in the sticks there. And so that self sufficiency that I need to have in order if somebody doesn't come out. So, if they have oil shortages and there's a big snow here, they're going to clear the snow in the city first before they ever clear here. So
Mm-hmm.
I know that I have to be self sufficient enough to clear that and what that is going to cost me or how we're going to do that, etc. So the thing
And
is, yes.
even if, let's just say, I mean, I have children who are active in sports, but private schools don't have a lot of transportation either. A lot of times parents are driving them back and forth to school. And if they
Hmm.
start rationing gasoline, then what's going to happen with the education? We're
Yep.
going to have to go back to learning online. And think about in the wintertime, heating oil. How are
Yeah.
people going to warm their home if we start rationing? Who's going to be the ones that decide? Who's going to decide who gets it and who doesn't?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if your home is cold, you can die.
That's true. If
I
it's
mean,
it,
just thinking about being prepared, firewood, and knowing that if I am heated by oil, I need to have another plan. I need to have a plan B.
so here's the thing I want to say about all of this and why the audit is so important is because the normal audit is more like a budget. How much do you spend? How much do you make? This isn't an audit that is for that. It's not a normal audit. It's a hi, the energy is gone, and here's the audit you need to have in order to reevaluate what you're doing. It's like this Lux life that we've been living is American privilege, and
Mhm.
that's it. The Lux life, where we enjoy several choices, foods coming from Peru in the middle of the winter, so we can have grapes at the Christmas table. All of those things where you can find in December. Boy, my wife is pregnant. She says she wants watermelon. I better run down to the store and buy one because watermelon is there in December. Those privileges, that is the American privilege, that is going to diminish.
Yes.
And it is going to diminish in a way that we aren't used to. So some of you are probably thinking, is it really going to get that bad? Is it really going to get that bad? I'm going to ask you to go find that information for yourself. And here's where I want you to go. There is a DOAC, which is Diary of a CEO. It's Stephen Bartlett's podcast.
Mhm.
And he has a risk expert from all, and not a risk expert from a university in America. This guy does it for the whole world, whole world.
Mhm.
And what they know about farmers. I'm going to just tell you this so you can see what we're seeing and go find the evidence for yourself. It's out there. There are farmers all over the world who are going to YouTube for the very first time and they're like, "Hi, my name is Farmer Brown. I've never been on YouTube. I don't know anything about it, but I came on to tell you we're headed to a famine." They're everywhere around the world. But
Yes.
now they're saying the risk assessment, that is the professional risk assessment. You go find it, go see it yourself.
Mhm.
Diary of a CEO. And what is in it? They say we have enough fertilizer right now to feed 2 billion people. And there are 8 billion people on the planet. And the thing is, when that starts happening, the cost of food. Now, I want you to think about that. The farmers are
Mhm.
warning us right now
Yes.
that they have enough fertilizer to feed 2 billion people. And the question is, are you going to be the 2 billion or the 8 billion? So
Mhm.
what I want to do is I want to help my farmer. Help my farmer. Now, in order to do that, I grow food and I share it with other people and other people share it with me. So the audit is there for you to take a deep dive into this because maybe you think we're conspiracy theorists or maybe you don't believe it's going to get that bad. Fine, that's okay. Just take the audit just in case.
Mhm.
It's free. So where can they get a hold of the audit itself?
I'm typing it in the chat now.
That's good. So that in the chat you can just click on the chat and get the audit for yourself for free. But take a moment and think about what you need. We've talked about how people are acting now. They're either scared and ignoring it, they don't want to know, they don't believe it's going to happen, or they're preparing for it. And then we are paying attention to the avoiders because the avoiders could be, harmful to you, or they could be somebody who just needs to learn more about what's happening. You need to build a lifeboat business. We talked about that, what a lifeboat business was earlier. And you need to audit yourself right now. You need to audit your life and say, how long is my one income going to work? You need to build the bridge and become independent instead of independent. Stop investing in things that are, permission based and or risky, and start building flows, because those flows will feed you, and these over here are going to get riskier. And you want to have cash on hand. You want to get to the point where you understand the money piece of it. Don't say, well, I have cash on hand. I have my debit card and I have my credit card. Remember 2008, credit stopped, it froze. And banks froze also. You didn't have access to your money. So you actually want to have a little cash on hand somewhere
Mhm.
safe. And then you want to have the right alliances, and you want to have some boundaries. And so the boundaries, I'm not sure, but I think I'm going to sneeze. This is what happens when you do live TV. So, what happens here is you want to have your alliances around you. Now, what do I mean by that? Get those engagements. Go to a community garden, buy a $20 box, learn how to grow some food, and meet some other people that are growing food, other people that are preparing. Go learn some skill sets that way. Go to the farmer's market. Go find your local farm stand. Start, like, we have the Amish in my area. So we go to the Amish grocery store. We're not headed to Walmart. We want to make friends with the people who grow the food in our area. You want to learn how to do that. You want to learn how to access what's local to you right now. And when the book Hidden Rules gets released, it's what they didn't teach you about wealth. And we're going to do that. So here's Monique put the hiddenrulesaudit.com in there, and you can go to the Hidden Rules Audit to get the free audit that's already there. Make a copy, print it for yourself, and use it there. It's a gift from us to you so that you have a tool that you can assess with. So the book, The Hidden Rules, is coming out May 26th. Yeah, 26, couple of weeks. Very exciting. It'll be my 48th book, and I'm very excited about that. And I'm very excited about the conversation as well. But let me tell you something. The feeling you have of, I feel stuck. I'm not sure what to do. I'm afraid. I feel uncertain. Those are normal. Those are all normal things. And what we hope this conversation has done for you today is help you have another idea of what's possible to challenge your reality in a way. And what I'm going to ask you to do right now, if you've just joined us, please subscribe to the podcast, subscribe to Wealth Rules, because we're going to keep you as up to date as possible. And we might give some secrets away about how wealth is really built and what you can do and have this. So, Monique, I just want to say I love having you as my podcast partner. You are simply the best. And if you were leaving one message for people today, what would you share with them?
I would say don't panic, just be prepared. Prepare yourself, prepare your family, do your own due diligence, do your own research. The data is out there. If you look, you will find it. It's not hard right now, it's everywhere. But don't panic, don't get your nervous system out of whack, but be prepared. When I honestly say that my blood pressure is low, even in the economic situation we are in today in America, it's because I'm prepared. And Vickie, you're amazing, as well as always, always, always. A great time talking with you, and being a co-host with you has been amazing. So
Thank you. Okay, so we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Thursday, we're going to be on, what time are we on
12
Thursday?
noon.
12 noon. And it'll be the Wealth Rules podcast. Thank you for being with us today. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye.